Start. Ok. ¿Cómo les va? Bienvenidos a una charla más del Business Application Latam Summit. En esta oportunidad vamos a tener a Pascal, que es de nuestro sponsor Platinum Solution Metrics, que nos va a estar hablando sobre las 5 fases para la implementación de una plataforma de automatización de marketing. Es para nosotros un placer tenerlo aquí, pues parte de nuestro sponsor Platinum, que nos ha ayudado con este evento, así que le damos la bienvenida. Welcome to everyone. We have another meeting in this Business Application Latam Summit. In this opportunity, Pascal will speak about the 5 phases of a successful and agile marketing automation platform implementation. He is from Solution Metrics. Solution Metrics is our platinum sponsor, and we are glad to have the opportunity to hear this session, to assist, to watch this session. So Pascal, welcome, and I let you start the presentation.
Excellent. So thanks for the warm introduction. As mentioned, we're going to cover the 5 phases of a successful and agile marketing automation platform implementation. We will cover all the topics surrounding marketing automation, such as pillars, such as main phases of implementation, best practices, use cases. So I hope you'll enjoy the presentation. After the session, if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out to me. It will be my pleasure to take some time to answer your questions. So who do we are at Solutions Metrics? Just quickly. So since 2001, we've been implementing CRM and marketing automation tools. So we've implemented more than 300 successful projects. Most of them in CRM, but we're going to talk about marketing automation and when marketing automation has become a growth factor for the company. And we've been working with systems such as Microsoft Dynamics for CRM, sales, services, but also for marketing automation. So we're going to discuss a little about the marketing apps. So each of our implementation is personalized to the customer needs and customer requirements. So we've developed step-by-step approaches that make sure that all the projects that we deliver are very much successful. So quickly, who I am. So as you see, I'm the marketing automation director at Solution Metrics. So I'm managing the marketing automation department. In the past, I've been working with big companies such as Bombardier Recreational Products, which is the fun department of Bombardier. I've also worked at L'Oreal Canada, so I kind of passed from an industry that was related to gas, mud, motors, and things like that to the complete opposite, where I was working with skincare, beauty products, makeup, and things like that. So I worked in both industries. I graduated from a very well-known school in Canada, but also in Europe, which is HEC Montréal. So I have a solid background in marketing, data management, business intelligence, e-commerce, things like that. So I've been with Solutions Metrics for almost 2 years now, where I've worked with my team to build marketing automation, best practices, ways of working, implementation, processes, things like that. But don't worry, we're going to cover all that during today's session. So let's start by discussing on what's marketing automation. Because you've probably heard the word marketing before. It's a very well-known word, but marketing automation itself is something different. It's not digital marketing. It's not any other type of marketing. So I'm going to discuss around what's marketing automation for Solutions Metrics. So let's just start by discussing around a few stats. So nurtured leads produce on average a 20% increase in sales opportunities versus a non-nurtured leads. So today we're going to cover the importance of acquiring, understanding, but also engaging with leads. So that will, at the end of the day, generate more sales opportunities. Plus 451% in terms of qualified lead. We're going to discuss today on what's a qualified lead, but monitoring online and offline customer journeys allows your organization to have a better understanding on which groups performs the best with your organization and which group has more chances to make a purchase with your organization. Also plus 14.5% in terms of sales productivity. So marketing and sales work very closely together, and marketing automation is a contributor to the sales team and vice versa. Today, we're going to discuss on how we facilitate the day-to-day of these two teams through marketing automation. So there's a digital marketing ecosystem where we will place marketing automation at the center of this ecosystem. So usually we have four main pillars in marketing automation. We have CRM and ERP data. So what are we meaning by CRM and ERP data? It's having standardized data across all the tools that you have. And you'll see through this presentation that it's something that I'm going to repeat constantly, but it's very important to us to have the same data across all platforms and build the same way. So the goal is to also transfer what we call online data to in-app data. So that's why sometimes we're going to connect social media tools and we're going to get information from there and centralize this information in the marketing automation system. Engagement, which is the second pillar. So engagement is all the possible touch point that you can have with your community. So basically the goal is to build a relationship with your database. And by doing that, you're going to ensure true success within your full project. Lead acquisition. So lead acquisition is all the marketing activities that will generate new leads. But on top of that, how you're going to keep a relationship with these leads. The goal is to generate, of course, net new revenue. And it's through marketing to lead acquisition campaigns that you're going to be able to generate this net new revenue. Of course, you're going to be able to look, analyze, and take decisions based on KPIs such as cost per acquisition. It could be rich data collection, the reach that you had with your lead acquisition campaigns, things like that. This is all centralized in the marketing automation tools, and that will facilitate marketing decisions. Website UX and UI, which is the last pillar of our approach. So basically, we are not webmasters, but we do support our clients in terms of how could we optimize, but also maximize the data collection touch points. So we are looking at how could we bring somebody to your website, engage with this person on your website, but also how could we bring that person to your database? So in other words, it's strategies that will take third-party data, and bring it to first-party data. That's the way that we work around website UX and UI. Online customer journey is something very important, and we take that into consideration while working with the marketing automation tool. So customer engagement. So we have the first, we have a little workflow, or not workflow, but process here that I'm showing on screen. So the first point is automated campaigns. So basically the goal is not to remove marketing departments or to reduce resources or things like that. But the goal is to put the tools in their hands and making sure that this tool will facilitate their day-to-day by using marketing automation features. So most of the engagement work, so that could be emailing, social campaigns, it could be lead scoring, things like that, is centralized in one tool and will be completed at the 80% level at the beginning, meaning that you're configuring, you're building your automations within the tool, early stage of the project, and afterwards the 20% remaining will be just adjusting, analyzing, optimizing what you've been working on early stage in the project. Alerts and preparation. So the objective is to be, I always say, ahead of the curve. So marketing is very dynamic. If you don't see the trends coming months, even years before, you're gonna miss your objectives. You're gonna miss a lot of opportunities. So the goal is to reduce the time of decision. So by having alerts on behaviors within the platform, by having alerts on specific interaction with your community, with your brand, you're going to be ahead of the curve. Also, by having alerts, you're going to reduce the time between, it could be 2 engagement points, it could be the time between 2 purchases. And at the end of the day, that's the goal, because you want your customers to stay with the brand, and you want your community to engage constantly with your brand. So, as you know, if at the moment of making a decision or purchasing something, your brand is not on top of the mindset of the customers, chances are they will go somewhere else. So you need to be prepared, you need to be alerted at the right time, and you need to be prepared to make a decision very, very, very quickly. The third point is increased engagement. So we talked a lot about personalization. As you know, it's a buzzword. We all want to do personalization, personalization, personalization. But we have to be careful. A lot of companies have the tendency to do what we call hyper personalization, and it's a common mistake. We must have the right level of personalization to make sure that your community will be engaged with your brands. Otherwise, it will be, your company or your brand will be seen as spam or things like that. We want to have automated and personalization, but we don't want to make it obvious. So that's very, very, very important. The goal is, again, to develop a one-to-one relationship, but I like to say it's one-to-one relationship in the mass context. I know it might seem contradictory, but by segmenting your database and doing personalization by segment, you're going to be successful in all the communication initiatives that you're going to create through your marketing automation tool. We look at KPIs, we make sure that we get better, and we constantly increase our engagement level with our community. And of course, the endpoint, re-engagement. So re-engagement, it's sometimes hard to understand, hard to do. As I said, it's very dynamic. So it's easy for a customer to look at one brand at moment A, have the same needs, and at moment B, looked at a completely different brand. So we need to maintain that engagement level over time, and we want to build a long-term relationship, not a short-term relationship, because otherwise, as I said, they're going to look at your competitors, and that's not what we want. So your community will become promoters at some point, and you need to put emphasis on these persons, because otherwise, as I said, they're just going to take some decisions, and these decisions won't be in favor of your organization. So focus on the promoters. Make sure that they make noise, that they promote your brand, that they become ambassador of your brand, and you're going to maintain a high level of re-engagement rate. Second process that I wanted to discuss today in context of marketing automation is prospect acquisition. This is one of my my favorite process or favorite pillar, because it has a marketing sense, a sales sense, a business growth sense. So I I truly like to work with these type of initiatives. The first point is segmentation. So as I said, marketing is a strong contributor to the sales team and vice versa. These two teams can't work in silos. And again, it's a common mistake, but they truly can't work in silos. So marketing generates leads for the sales team. Sales team shares feedback and insights to the marketing team. Marketing team adjusts, and we work in this way on a regular basis. So it's lean. Every team is aligned, and we make sure that we get best of both worlds. So sales is making marketing day-to-day much more easier, and marketing is making sales day-to-day easier as well. Automation. So the goal in automation is to make sure that contacts and leads have different journeys. This is very important because the leads is somebody that has interest in your products or services. So you can engage with that group of person the same way that you're engaging with all your community. That's a common mistake, and we try to avoid that. We try to have two different journeys, two different offers, two different contexts, two different content as well, and we make sure that these engagement strategies are automated. So it's very hard for marketing and sales to do ad campaigns for every leads audiences or segments or things like that. So that's why we need to develop processes, automated processes that will facilitate these approaches. Email, social, and ads. So what I'm referring to with these three words is we either have to optimize what you're currently doing on these three different platforms, because of course paid ads is different from social media, and social media is very different from emails. But the goal is to create a variety of acquisition sources. So again, it could be through a form on your website. It could be through an email campaign where you can refer a friend. It could be through paid ads that will generate traffic to your website, or through sponsor ad on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, things like that. So the goal at the end is to get new leads, engage with them, making sure that they see the right content and the right message. Also, it's very important to make sure that you have remarketing capabilities internally, because the goal is to increase on a regular basis the visibility and the notoriety of the brand. And by doing so, you're going to get more prospect, you're going to get more leads, and at the end of the day, it's going to generate net new revenue. The last point of this this process is sales ready prospect. So after a few lead acquisition campaigns, the company should have intelligence in the system on which leads or which group of leads is performing better. As mentioned previously, this information should be provided by sales, because they are the one, or it could be e-commerce team as well if you're in a B2C context, but they are the last team to be engaging with that group of person before going to operation. So we need to get that information from the sales team, and we need to provide the leads to the sales team based on what they are telling us. That brings us to the next point, which is sales and marketing alignment. So we have the first point, which is lead scoring. The lead scoring system has to be implemented by the marketing team in the marketing automation tool. This functionality allows to give points based on interactions with the brand or with behaviors, things like that, for the leads that are in the system. The nature of the points are based on behaviors such as, I just want to give you a few examples here so you can understand how we're giving points. So it could be form submission, it could be visiting the website, visiting a specific pages on the website, participating to an event. It could be opening an email, clicking in an email. So there's multiple ways of attributing points. And by doing that, we're going to be able to understand the level of engagement of your leads with your organization. So that brings us to monitoring. So what I'm referring to for monitoring is we have to create analysis processes to look at the leads and their points. Usually what do we do as best practices is we divide these leads by tiers. It could be 3 tiers, it could be 5 tiers, it could be 25 tiers, whatever, but we just have to find the best way for your organization to divide these leads. It could be cold, warm, hot leads, which is something that you've probably heard before, or also it could be bronze, silver, golds, or things like that. But the strategy would be to make sure that these leads are progressing through your tiers. So bronze has to become silver, silver has to become gold, and then you'll see later we're going to transfer these leads to the sales team. So we, as a marketing team, has to make sure that the most of your leads are qualified. So our marketing qualified leads. The third point is marketing to sales. So we can't send a bunch of leads to the sales team because otherwise it's going to be a waste of time, but also a waste of effort. So each organization should have a handoff between marketing and sales process. Because as I said, we should focus on the top tier leads, which usually represents 3 to 5% of your total leads. Next point is automated notification. Automated notification is very simple to use, but also very efficient. By adding the sales team in the marketing tool, it's possible to send automated notification to sales users. So the goal is to limit the amount of exchange of emails or any other communication between marketing and sales, and make sure that the sales team is engaging with the hot lead at the right moment. You can't transfer a lead from the marketing to the sales team and then wait months, days, or things like that. Otherwise, you're just going to lose an opportunity. And as I said, since it's very dynamic, they will probably receive a bunch of other communication from your competitors and they'll go somewhere else. So it's very important to limit the time between the moment where marketing is handing off leads to the sales and the moment that they are taking care of these leads. So at the end of the day, the goal is to create a 360 integration between marketing automation and all the other tools. Most of the time, marketing automation tool is connected to the CRM, obviously to work better between sales and marketing, but we also connect that type of tools with other platforms such as events management platforms. So it could be Eventbrite, for instance. It could also be connected to analytics tools. So we have Power BI, we have Tableau, we have Looker. So again, the goal is to find and discuss your platform ecosystem, which data you would like to take from these platforms and bring it to your marketing automation tools, and have standardized data across all these tools. So you can have marketing information in your CRM, you have CRM information in your marketing automation tool. Same thing from your event platforms, you're going to get the same information from both marketing and events. So that's the goal of having your marketing automation platform connected to all the other tools. So the data transfer is live. Usually, most of the platforms nowadays have open API, so it's very easy to connect. Data transfer is very easy. There's no import export scenarios or things like that. We are connecting two platforms and we work this way. So now let's discuss on the 5 main phases for implementing a successful and agile marketing automation platform. So these 5 phases are needs and requirements gathering, configuration, internal processes and community interactions. We have creation of marketing automation strategies, execution of these strategies, and at the end of the day, how could we smoothly close a project and discuss next steps. So let's start by phase needs and requirement gathering. So most of the time, this phase is underestimated and even completely neglected. This is a very, 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 very big mistake, because I believe that this is the most important phase of all projects. It's the phase that will define if a project is successful or not. So we need to take time to look at this phase. We need to take time to discuss, do work session. So at this moment, we focus on user adoption, and we make sure that we deliver a solution that marketing users will be using on a regular basis. Otherwise, there's no need to implement a marketing automation tool. If I give you a Ferrari, but I don't give you the keys, or you don't have your driver's license, what's the point of having a Ferrari? So what do we do in this phase is we start by becoming familiar with your marketing goals, your marketing team. We make sure that we discuss the project vision, but also the project objectives. So we need to be aligned at this moment on the ways of working and make sure that we both the client and the integrator understands that it's a collaboration. We are not there to tell you you should do A, B, C, D. We listen to our customers, our clients. We listen to the marketing requirements, and we adjust our project accordingly. Second point is to understand their business capabilities. All marketing automation projects are different. They're all different. We have to make sure that we understand their context. We have to make sure that we've discussed how we're going to meet their requirements that we previously discussed. So this is very important, and this is what will define if it's a success or not. Then we go to quick wins and low-hanging fruits. As you know, in IT, every clients want everything yesterday, fast, and most of the time it's not possible. So what we like to do in marketing automation is to identify a few things that will have a big impact on the marketing team day to day, and we focus on these few things early stage of the project. So marketing users see added value by using marketing automation, and for us, we make sure that we could keep progressing within the project. The last point is we discuss the pain points, and we make sure that we discuss how could we tackle these pain points. And trust me, there are a lot of pain points usually when we start discussing this topic. So we need to come up with solutions, but we need also to come up with relevant solutions for the client. What we like to use in terms of illustrating all these points is what we call a mind map. A mind map is something that illustrates all the functions or all the departments or all the capabilities of the organization. Also, it allows us to understand what is currently part of the marketing initiatives. So what are they currently doing, but also what they would like to do in the future with the marketing automation tools. So what the mind map looks like, it's something like that. So as you can see on the screen, we have the main pillars or main requirements and needs of the client, and we explode every one of them, and we go into details to understand, as I said, what they're doing, what are their capabilities, what challenges are they facing, how are they currently working internally, do they have processes? So at the end, it looks like this. It's not very sexy, but trust me, it's very efficient. And it's something that we do for every single marketing automation project. Early stage, phase 1. Phase 2 it's about configuration. The main difference between marketing automation and CRM is that configuration is very limited in marketing automation. So yes, we could play with how the fields are going to be displayed or things like that, but we rarely go in the back end and do custom dev in marketing automation. So it's user-friendly platforms, and that's a point that the clients really liked about using these type of tools. So what do we do for configuration? So we start by creating data naming convention. So we make sure that the data is very well presented. If we have to create marketing custom fields, we also create these fields into the instance. If you have several lists from a bunch of marketing tools that you were using before, we take those lists, we centralize that in one master list, we clean the data based on the data naming convention, and we import that data in the marketing automation tool. So we also have configuration regarding DKYM, SPF, whitelistings. So in other words, just to make sure that when you're sending an email, you don't fall under junk or you're not flagged as spam. After doing all the configuration, you should have capabilities to play with data, manage your data, do some clustering, create email campaigns, create forms and landing page, generate lead acquisition tools, create marketing dashboards, but also reports, do advanced analytics. So you could create marketing reports for specific groups of users. It could be a marketing report for top management team, could be a marketing report for sales team, marketing reports for marketing team, etc. Also, what's important, it's after configuring the tool, you'll be allowed to play with and to collect data in order to take data-driven decisions. It's very, very, very important to not take decision based on assumption, but look at the data that you have, look at historical data, and take decision based on this data. So you look at KPIs such as open rate, click to open rate, new prospect, existing lead, segments, lead scoring. It could also be website performance, because we're able to take what we call a web tracking code, attach this web tracking code to your website to gather information from website. So that's key to success, data-driven decision. Phase 3, it's internal processes. Oh, this one is very, very, very fun. Again, as I mentioned earlier, most of the clients, they want everything fast. But that said, we need to take time to discuss processes that are surrounding the usage of the marketing automation tool. So we start by looking at the RASI chart. So we make sure that the right person is in the right seat in order to operate marketing. We also look at email creation and nurture process. How long does it take from start to finish for creating an email? Because as you probably know, if you're in a marketing team, you receive a request and the email has to be ready in 2 hours and ready to be sent the next morning. It's not how it works. It takes time. It includes several resources, several departments as well. So we have to make sure that this process is very well mapped and that the large team, so it could be top management, directors, managers, etc., sign off on this process. Same thing for marketing analysis. So this is all about if you receive a request for creating a report. Perfect. There's a bunch of information that we need in order to create that reports. How long does it take? What type of information that we need? So the process has to be mapped and very clear to everybody. Approval process. So sometimes in some organization, they have multiple resources and they have very detailed approval process, and we need to recreate that in the marketing instance, and we have to make sure that this process is clear by everybody. So who's making an approval when, that needs to be understood by the large team. Creation of data collection touchpoint and landing page. Same thing to email creation. That implicates a lot of departments, a lot of resources, and sometimes external resources. So there's a series of things to do. These things have to be very clear. There's a delay before every single action. These delays have to be communicated with the team, and we need to be aligned on the way of working when it's about creating a forms or a landing page. Data management, so who's responsible of the data? Are we allowing all the users to import, export data? So we also need to make sure that we have a process that is surrounding that initiatives. Creation of social media campaign. Sometimes we're gonna have the social media specialists working with us in the marketing automation tool, and we work with that resource to create a process on, for instance, if I would like to create a social media post, what are requirements, what are the delays, who's responsible to approving the final version, things like that. And lastly, marketing qualified leads to sales qualified leads. We need to set criteria in order to make sure that marketing qualified leads are transferred to sales to eventually become sales qualified leads. So all these things needs to be mapped, understood by everybody, and we need to have all the necessary information within these processes in order to maximize the usage of the marketing automation tools. Otherwise, I can configure the best tool in the world. I can make it perfect, but if the way that you're using the tool is not understood by the team or the top management team, the main users, sales team, etc., there's no need to do a marketing automation project. So that's why it's very, very, very important to take time to discuss processes and make sure that everybody is on board with these processes. The fourth phase is creation of marketing automation strategy. So the way that we work in marketing automation is there's two, let's say two segments. So the first one is we are discussing and preparing the strategies. So it's how could we use the tool within these strategies? So most of the times it could be engagement, leads, UX, UI, smart content, smart offers, smart CTAs as well. So how could we present personalized content based on the data that we have in the tool, but also integration of other tools such as paid ads, socials, LinkedIn, things like that. So first thing is to prepare the strategies. Don't prepare all strategies and don't execute them at once. Otherwise, your marketing team will be overwhelmed and you're going to do 25% of 15 things. Start by preparing one strategy and then focus on this one. And that brings us to the last phase, which is executing the marketing automation strategies. So the example that I give is we prepare strategy A. When it's done for the preparation, we start executing the strategy. While the strategy A has been executed, we start thinking, discussing, preparing strategy B. When that's completed, we start executing strategy B. So as you see, there's different streamline of work and things like that surrounding the strategies. But the most important thing is don't overwhelm yourself. Don't prepare 15 strategies and try to execute them one by one or one after the other quickly. Otherwise, chances of failure are very high. So we need to strategize before executing. Sorry, last phase of marketing automation is finalizing the project, but also what's around the corner. What's next? How do we transfer from marketing automation implementation to, could be support, or it could be another project? How do we do that? Well, it's very simple. We start by looking at the execution. Then we focus on the execution and we talked about that in a work session. Then we discuss the outcomes. If we need to adjust, we adjust. Then we do some analysis and testing. We see if it's working or not. And again, if we need to do other adjustments, please do adjustments. There's some learnings that will be coming out of these strategies and marketing automation initiatives. We look at these learnings, we say, okay, that's what's been working on. That's been what's been working well. That's not been working well. How could we focus on the best marketing campaigns? Then we re-execute these campaigns and then we start optimizing. So if you repeat that over and over and over, at some point, you're gonna find the best recipe for your marketing team or your marketing initiatives, and you will just constantly optimize. And at some point, maybe in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, what you've been working on will not be working anymore. That's why you need to do some work sessions. You need to do more analysis, more testing, more learnings. And maybe at some point, instead of optimizing, you're gonna decide to go in another direction. But even if you take that other direction, you're still gonna have to do this process again and again and again. So that's very important. Do multiple iterations, do adjustments constantly. Don't wait until the end of a campaign to take decision. In the first 48 hours, you should have enough data and enough insights to take decision on either you're continuing the campaign, modifying the campaign, or just stopping the campaign. So don't wait until the end before making decision. So how do we do the revision of the project is we start by looking at, okay, what we've done in the past 6 months. We say, okay, that worked, that has been delivered. Hey, hold on, we haven't finished that. Perfect, no problem. We're gonna optimize it and we're gonna either do refactoring to make sure that we deliver based on what we agreed. We start by working on documentation. So we make sure that we gather everything in one big document that we like to call the digital playbook. It could be the marketing playbook, marketing automation playbook, whatever. But we make sure that we give something to the client at the end of the day to make sure that they have a reference. So they don't come to us for basic questions. We do a project, sign off, and then we transfer to support if needed, or we just say, hey, you know what? It's been a very great journey. Let's stay in touch. It was a great partnership, and then we move on. But it's very important to do that at the end of the project, because sometimes there's a lot of things that we forgot. There's some gray zones. Client isn't happy. So it's important for us in marketing automation to take time to sit with the client, look behind us, what we've done. Are you happy? Are you satisfied with the end result? We looked at the objectives that we've set early stage of the project. We looked at the vision that we also set early stage of the project, and we decide, are we here today? And the goal is to have yes as an answer. Oh, thanks a lot for taking the time listening to me. Also, I want to thank all the organizers of the event for receiving me, but also for receiving Solutions Metrics. I also want to say a special thank to Sergio, who did an amazing job supporting us. So thanks a lot, everybody. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Send me an email, add me on LinkedIn, go through our website, and it will be my pleasure to take time and discuss with you. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Okay, thanks Pascal for your presentation. It was amazing. Our audience today is very shy, very shy. They didn't do any question, but I'm sure that they enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much for your time, for your collaboration with the event, and special thanks to Solution Metrics to be a sponsor for this event. We will put this video, upload this video, sorry, to our YouTube channel, so the people who cannot participate live will have the opportunity to watch on YouTube. Thank you so much, Solution Metrics and Pascal, and I hope see you in other presentation.
Excellent. Thanks to you guys. I really appreciate it.
Goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye.